Let's see. Hello, hello. Good morning, mob family. How is everyone doing today? Welcome to our MoB Kaffeeklatsch, episode 148. Wow. Look at we're 2 episodes away from 150. We gotta do something special for 150. I don't know what we're gonna do. We gotta do something special. 150, let's see. Today's the 18th, 149 is the 1st of August, so the 8th of August will be 150. Excuse me. Wow, wow. Soon. Okay, let me say hi to everybody. Good morning, Richard. Again, hello. How are you? Let's see. Morning, Chris Mendoza. Mary Beth. Good morning, Joe. Good afternoon. Enid. Good morning. Heather. Good morning. Paige, your character. Wow. I almost don't want to kill your character, Paige. We'll discuss in a bit. Good morning, Marie. I guess it's morning where you are. Yes. Connie. Hello. Welcome. Dan, holla, holla, holla. Good morning. All right. Dan. Oh no, no audio? How can you be no audio? Is it no audio? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Should be able to hear me. Guys, let me know if you can hear me. I have audio on my end, apparently. I guess you can hear me because Paige is crying. Enid, check your audio because I think it's on your end. It's not on this end. Yeah, Paige. Okay, I'm gonna get into Deadeye without spoiling, but I'm gonna get into it because we could discuss the red shirt. But wow, just wow. All right. Let me just jump right into it. Okay. Shout out to everyone on YouTube. Hello, YouTube world. Hello. Thank you for signing in, coming in, dropping in. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe. Okay. On YouTube because it helps the algorithms. And the channel's growing. I think we're up to like 436 or 435, something like that. So little by little, small steps, we'll get up there. Don't worry. The goal is 1,000, so let's get up there. We're at Ben Peaches Publishing. Share, turn someone onto the channel and tell them, hey, come check out this channel. It's awesome. We're on Instagram. I haven't posted Instagram recently. Oh, it's evening. Good evening, Marie. I haven't posted to Instagram recently because I've been in the middle of get out and doing other things. But I have a few things lined up to post, so that'll be fun. And I've been doing exercise stuff, but right now, even the exercise stuff is I'm just focused on the exercise. I don't really post much on Instagram, but I will be doing some Instagram posts for Deadeye when it comes out because wow. I don't want to overhype it, but wow. Zazzle. So our Zazzle store is there. Go get your swag. This is Zazzle swag, what I'm wearing. This is not Zazzle swag. But go get your swag. Hello, Audrey. Welcome. Great questions, Audrey. It's gonna be fun answering those questions. You and Chris. So go to our Zazzle store and get your swag. We have so much swag at the Zazzle store, and the designers are working on creating even more. So go in there, browse, look, check it out. This is the link. Let's see how StreamYard is behaving today. See how quickly the link comes up. Pretty quickly. Nice. Go. That's our link there, and that's the RF code. I think Jeanette was asking for it the other day. Thank you. Just want to shout out Chris. Thank you for posting it up for Jeanette. I know she was looking for it for the RF code. So thank you. I really appreciate you working the technomancy. Thank you. So yeah, go to our Zazzle store, go get some swag, show it off to your friends, to your family, and say, look, this is the swag you need to get. And that'll be awesome. Really would appreciate that. I'm gonna get to this in a moment. Let me just put the link up right now, and I'll do a quick a quick PSA. There was supposed to be a story that came out at the end of June. I postponed it. I'm looking at my calendar. You see me looking up because I'm going to release a secret story for Patreon. It's going to take a little while. So all you patrons, please hold on because I'm working on something really special for you guys, and it's not going to be the senior citizen story, which that's going to be another time. But the story that I'm going to release, you're going to be like, whoa. So just hold on. I promise you, it's going to be worth the wait. I do. It really is, and it's going to tie in. It's going to tie in with Deadeye, and then Deadeye is going to kind of launch that story. That so I can't really give you too much right now because it's spoiler free. But just hold on, patrons. Hold on. In the meantime, enjoy the chapter because I know the chapters. We're releasing the chapters as the story comes out. So enjoy the chapters. So yes, and then we have an awesome webpage. So please, all the links that you're looking for are going to be on the website. Please visit the website. Listen, just visit the website for visiting the website because it's an awesome website that Dolly created and curated and made look amazing. So go there, and then while you're there, browse and see if you're missing anything. There's a lot. Last time I went there a few days ago, I went. It's like, my God, this place is chock full of stuff. So go. There's a lot of stuff, and go just browse and check it out, and stress test. Click on stuff and see, make sure everything works too. It's always a good thing. You can always let me know, hey, that link doesn't work, or that link works, but it leads you to the wrong place, kind of thing. It's always good to know because things do change, and sometimes UIs get funky and stuff like that. So it's always good to kind of go and check it out. So I would appreciate it. And also just go to the website and see if you're missing a book or an audiobook or something. That's the place to go to get it. So I appreciate it. Let me remove this. Yes, all those links will be up in the MoB. So if you need any of these links, I gotta put that link somewhere where we can, the Zaza link especially, because that's what Jeanette was asking for. I didn't know where to find it. I was like, where's this link? So I gotta have that link handy somewhere. Yes, a secret story. Can't get into a lot of detail, but it's gonna be wow. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. It really is. And so I'm looking forward to the point that I pushed back the usual Patreon story, and I said no, I want to make this one to just have it for the patrons, but just it's gonna be. I can't get into too much. I don't want to spoil it at all. So yeah. You see, Dan says, I presume most here have read the Pain Eaters by now, so we need to discuss your full on Melvining of we can tell me a certain dark mage had nothing to, I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm clueless. I'm like Colonel Klink. I know nothing. I know nothing. I know nothing. I mean, we can discuss it because by now, if you haven't read Pain Eaters by now, what are you doing? You need to read Pain Eaters. And it's been a lot of years in the making. So yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Dan, but I did see that trailer for Tron Ares. Okay, I'm not a huge Jared Leto fan. I mean, I like him in 30 Seconds to Mars because yeah, I'm a huge 30 Seconds to Mars. I love the music. As an actor, he's had good moments. I think the last thing, I'm not unfrozen. I hope I'm not frozen. But as an actor, I didn't see him in Morbius. I've seen him in a few things. I remember once when he played a killer. So that one was good. He was in a movie with Danny Glover. I think that was a movie he was in. I'm pretty sure that was a movie he was in. I didn't see him as the Joker, so I didn't. I can't speak to that. But we'll see how he is in Tron. I like Chris. It must be on your Marie because we're flowing fine over here. Just for a little while. I grew up with Tron, like Chris, and Tron. There's a lot of nostalgia there for me with Tron because I really loved that movie. So this should be interesting because it's with all the Tron beings coming to our world, and that I feel that was like the most natural progression of that story. Like instead of everybody going to their world, their world coming to our world. That's going to be interesting. So we'll see. Tron holds a special place in my heart, and I haven't seen all of the other Tron stuff, so we'll see. Maybe I'll do a Tron marathon and catch up and get caught up to date before the last movie. Before I watch the last movie, but it was really good. I like Leto. I think he's a Johnny Depp type. Yeah, he's really polarizing. I like as a musician, as a singer, I really love 30 Seconds to Mars. I have all the albums. Excuse me. But as an actor, he has his moments. He can act. It's just that the roles that he's chosen, kind kind of meh in some of them. Some of them really good. Some of them really like, what were you thinking? You know. So, but hey, if he's enjoying it, I'm sure there are people who love him, who love his acting because of 30 Seconds to Mars. You know what I mean? Like they love 30 Seconds to Mars so much that they'll overlook. He can act in whatever, and they'll just follow him. So yeah. But I think I agree with you, Paige. He's very much a Johnny Depp type. You either love him or leave him. Like I love Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean or Caribbean. Um, just because Johnny Depp is just such a crazy character, he really embodied Jack Sparrow in that way. It was like he made all those movies. You would watch the movies just to watch Depp, and so And then Depp has done some really interesting movies too. So like the ninth, I think it's the Ninth Gate or something. That was a really interesting movie about books and stuff like that. Kitty, welcome. Okay, Dan, yeah, Mortal Kombat 2. I love Carl Urban. I can't see him as Johnny Cage. Like I get it. I get the premise. I understand what they're trying to do with the character of Johnny Cage. No powers sent to this contest. No, I'm sorry. I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna do well. I mean, yes, Carl Urban can pretty much pull off anything, but this is gonna be a little. Like he's exceptional in The Boys. I like Carl Urban in The Boys. He's like fantastic as Butcher. He's fantastic as Bones in the Trek movies. What else was Judge Dredd? He was great. Like, Johnny Blaze. I don't know if I can see him yeah. I think Mortal Kombat 2 is always that kind of movie where it's like, kind of you have to love the games and love that lore and love that world, and then you can get into the movies. But Hideyoki is really good in this one, and like in the first one, and in this one, very good actor. He's good in anything he does. But yeah, Carl Urban, it's gonna be a little cringy. Only I think you know what it is. Only because I think he's a little past the prime for a Johnny Cage character. Plus a Johnny Cage character with no powers. So he's gonna have to do all that martial arts stuff. I mean, I know it's gonna be stuntman, but you've got to sell that this older character is gonna be doing all these martial arts with no abilities in a world where all these creatures have abilities. That's gonna be a hard sell. The suspension of disbelief is gonna be tough. All right. Yeah, so those are my opinions on that. Let's see. Did you really want to discuss pain eaters, Dan? I mean, we could if you feel the need to get it off your chest. But I don't know. I'm going to need you to clarify what you mean by my Melvining of you, just a bit, because it can mean so many things in my head. I have many Melvins in my head. So yeah. And which certain dark mage? I have no idea what you're talking about. Really, I don't. Clarify it for me. So yeah, like you're saying, Chris, yeah, the Tron movie makes so much sense now, especially with AI and runaway programs, and it's really appropriate to today's world and what we're on the cusp of AI kind of exploding and becoming so prominent in the world now and in society. So it's an interesting, I guess, social commentary on our current state of being. So I think it'll be relevant in that regards too. And a program wanting to be alive, as it's hinted to in the trailer. That's an interesting kind of twist on the story. That said, I said the same thing about Iron Fist. I get casting a name to raise profiles. Yeah, but I'd still rather than cast a lesser known name with actual bona fide martial arts skill and some acting skills for panning any fight scene to hide the fact that it's a stunt double. Right. And that's the issue. Like, let's see, what movie did it well? John Wick did it well because John Wick pretty much brutalized Keanu, in terms of like he did most of the fighting. And when they cast him for John Wick, he had come off the Matrix hype, so he wasn't. Good morning, way early. Good morning, Jeanette. When they cast Keanu for John Wick, he had come off the Matrix movie hype, so he wasn't exactly a hot in-demand actor. So they were able to get him for a lower, I guess, salary. So there was some name recognition there, but it wasn't like Brad Pitt or something. And so you couple that with the fact that he did most of his stunts, and they were able to get these really close shots of him doing the fighting, and be able to show his face, or be able to show him getting thrown, or being able to show him throwing people and getting beat up, and so it lends more credibility to the movie and to the fighting scenes. Same thing happened with Ballerina. Ana de Armas did most of her stunts, from what I understand, and it lends to the credibility of the character. You're not gonna have that with Carl Urban, because Carl Urban is not known to be a martial artist, and so you know when he does those spinning backflips and turns and all this stuff, you know it's not Carl. You know, it's like he's a little older for that. This, I know what it's like to do those things, and it takes it out of you. I don't do them anymore because my body's like, no, we're not doing this. But I know what it's like, and yeah, you do a few of those, you land wrong on one move, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna sit the next 2 hours out because my knees are crying now. So Carl Urban is no spring chicken. That's all I'm saying. And so they're gonna have to do a lot of these weird. Hello, have a great weekend, Jenna. Thank you so much for popping in. We're not gonna discuss Deadeye, but we might discuss the red shirt because the show is really interesting. So if anything, you can watch this later. Go get some sleep, rest the brain, rest the, if you're having any kind of issues with the migraines or anything like that, go rest. And thanks so much for coming in and saying hello. So yeah, they're gonna have to do a lot of quick panning, and, a lot of shaky cam, Liam Neeson type fighting from Taken. That's what they did. It was like basically you would just jar left and right in every fight scene. So we'll see. It's not like the Bourne Identity or the Bourne movies where you get to see Matt Damon kind of up close doing things, which was fun because you get to see him actually, mix it up and actually do a lot of things. That was fun to watch. We'll see. We will see. Let's see. So Paige, what can I discuss about those of you? I guess everyone here knows that Paige won the red shirt competition. And if you don't know what a red shirt competition is, let me just give you a little bit of background for those that might know. So the red shirt competitions were started early on in the Mountain Strong series. I'm sure they've been around for a long time. Oh, that's great. And I'm looking forward to seeing that Deadeye Bingo. That's going to be a lot of fun. Already a couple of things that you had hinted at are definitely going to be in there. So I want to see that. That's going to be fun. Marie says, not a spring chicken. Oh, well, yeah. I'm going to defer to your opinion of that, Marie, because I don't find Carl Urban yummy. But okay. So the red shirt competition is basically, it stems from Star Trek's red shirts, where if you ever see the original series, I don't think this got carried on to the spin-offs of Star Trek. But if you ever see the original series of Star Trek, whenever there was a character with a red shirt on and they were part of the away team, it was almost pretty much guaranteed that they were dead. Some monster would kill them. They would trip on a rock and uncover some being, or some chemical would hit them, and they were the first ones dead. The only ones that escaped that fate were Uhura, Scotty, and there was another woman on the bridge. I forget her name now. She was the blonde, and she was a red shirt, but she survived the whole series. So those are the only red shirts that kind of survived the series. Scotty, because Scotty, you can't kill Scotty. Aurora, because she's Uhura. She's the one that deals with communications. And the other one, I forgot what the other one did, but yeah, but there were no names, and they were expendable. They were considered expendable. So we brought that idea to Monty and Strong, and readers get an opportunity, if they answer a question correctly, to become a red shirt, basically a character in the story, whatever the current story is going to be. Excuse me. With the knowledge that they're going to die in the story. Yes, Human Janice. That's exactly who it was, Paige. Thank you. What exactly did Yeoman Janice do? That's the question. Because I don't remember what she would do on the bridge. And Nurse Chapel, yes. But Nurse Chapel is also the voice of the computer in Star Trek. That's just some trivia. And she was also Gene Roddenberry's wife. So I don't think there was any way they were going to kill Nurse Chapel. Oh, she was a nurse. That's right. She was the nurse. Janice was the nurse for Bones. Okay, thank you. You guys are awesome. great to have all the Star Trek trivia. So for our red shirt competitions, a reader who answers a question correctly can then be in a story as a character. The character is usually based on attributes or traits of the reader in question. And so Paige is our current red shirt. And I almost feel bad killing you, Paige. I really do, because the character that's been created is like, wow, you're awesome, kick-ass character. I think she did more than just be a pretty face, Kitty. Although the outfits back then, it was the 60s, so miniskirts were definitely in fashion, in vogue. Yes, but she was also Kirk's assistant, because sometimes she would hand him like a clipboard or something. I remember that too. Yeah. I mean, most of the outfits back for the women on Star Trek were basically to be attractive. Yeah, they weren't wearing long dresses and, collars up to here. So it was definitely that kind of a thing. But it was also the 60s, and it was very progressive, and it was very free. And don't forget the era that we were in the 60s, right? So that is the situation now with Paige's character. You can ask me questions, Paige. I might be able to answer them about your character, but it's gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be really good, and your character has attitude. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's been a long time since okay, if we're gonna talk about the original series, we're talking the last time I saw the original series, like actually saw the series on television, I was I think in high school. Yeah. So we're talking along the 80s. I want to say the 80s. Yeah. Women didn't wear pants a lot yet back then. No, they didn't. Administrative assistant. That's what a naval yeoman is, right? So she was Kirk's assistant. Got it. Okay. That's awesome. That's good to know. I could ask my sister. She's ex-Navy. She would probably know that stuff. The Green Lady on Star Trek played Batgirl? Really? Oh, yes. Now that I look at the face, I'm thinking about the face. I have that memory. Yes. I don't remember the name of the actress, but yes, it's the same person. Wow. Wow. That was a long, jeez. Batgirl didn't do too much on the show, on Batman, but she did come on frequently. Yeah, but it is the same woman. Yes. Wow. See, I didn't, up until this point right now, I never made that connection. I never made that connection. Wow. Y'all have to look up the actress's name, because I used to know it because I used to watch Batman all the time, and her name would come up all the time. Yvonne Craig, yes, Yvonne Craig. You guys are awesome. Doesn't matter. I get the phonetics. Yes. All right. So, do you guys have any questions about Deadeye? I can kind of let me go through the updates first. Then we'll talk Deadeye. How's that? Pain Eaters is out, so if you haven't, so let's go. We'll go down the list. Pain Eaters is out. Please leave a review if you haven't. I think it's got plenty of reviews, but if you haven't, Chris, still dreaming about the Green Lady. You know what? You say that, but I can see her in my mind vividly right now. Not only because I remember the episode, but in every series opening, there was a quick cameo of her. I think she was dancing with Kirk or around Kirk. So every series, every episode had a shot of her, I think dancing with Kirk or like showing her with Kirk somewhere. So that's why I remember her. And welcome, Gerard. But my French is very rusty. So yes, Pain Eaters has plenty of reviews, but if you haven't left a review, please do so. It helps the algorithm. It helps people. It helps with the social proof, which is what helps the books get seen and picked up. Frozen Fire. It's still in the process. As soon as I finish Deadeye, Frozen Fire, Gerard. Oh, okay, Gerard. Okay. Excellent. Thank you for the fanatics. Frozen Fire, which is the romantasy. It's in the wings, but Deadeye has sucked all the oxygen out of the book room, out of the word cave, and I can't do Frozen Fire right now because Deadeye is just overpowering the writing, and so Frozen Fire is going to have to wait until I finish Deadeye, and then I'll jump right back into Frozen Fire. I'm like 10K into Frozen Fire, so as soon as Deadeye is done, Frozen Fire will get finished. So it's a wait. It's okay. You can use whatever name you need to use. That's fine. We're not hunting you down, Jerome. The poetry book. Let's see. The print versions are ready, so now I just have to order a bunch and send them to the people who want the actual hard copies. But the print versions are done. I think I showed it to you last Kaffeeklatsch, so yes. Yes, Deadeye has to be okay. Honestly, Deadeye has gone feral, like insane. I'll put it to you like this: let me see what I'm on to. I'm up to 33,000 words. I'm not even halfway through the book. Not even at 33K. Usually at 33K, I'm looking at the end because I know where to go. 33K right now, they just met Paige. It's insane. I don't even know how to explain this. The plurality, if that's even a word. Jeanette says there's a comment in the novelization of the Trouble with Tribble sequel in Deep Space Nine about how I think Bashir looks at Dax in her retro uniform and how the dress was so short it was a long way from her to the floor. I think that I have to go check that out. I haven't seen Deep Space in a long time. I used to like all the Star Trek spin-offs. I used to watch them all. So, in reference to Deadeye going feral, I have no words. I can't even explain it. I don't even know how long this book. Usually, I know a book is going to be 50K, 55K. Honestly, I don't know how long this book is going to be. I have an idea that it'll be maybe 60, 65, 70. I really can't tell you it's going to end this much because of everything that needs to happen in the story and how it's going in terms of what needs to happen, what's happening, who needs to be in danger. At some point, Paige has to die. I'm sorry, Paige. And so, but it will be a glorious death, Paige. It will be a glorious death. I promise you. And so, how all this has to happen, it's like, yikes. I look at it, and okay, as I'm writing each day, so I have my daily quotas, and it's usually like 3 or 4K a day, maybe more, depending on how the day's going. As I'm writing, I know that the story is progressing, right? It's progressing, but yet, if it feels like I'm in a desert and there's a mirage, I know it's progressing. I know I'm covering distance to get to the end, but it's just that it's like one of those movies where the hallway starts to stretch and get longer and longer and longer as you're running down the hallway, and the door just gets further and further away. That's what it feels like. It's like I'm running down this hallway of Deadeye, and it just keeps getting farther and farther and farther, and the door just keeps going away from it. Like I'm gonna get there eventually, but first I gotta write all this. It's crazy. It's crazy. So yes, yeah. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm not apologizing for the book. I'm just apologizing that if you wanted the book early, right now. I can tell you with all honesty, the art won't happen until the end of the month, maybe next month, because that's the way it is. That's the way it is. I have that. I know I'm supposed to have control over that. I have no control over that. It's gonna. Yeah, Paige is going the glorious battle. The battle will be glorious, Paige. Jeanette says it's in the book, and it's such a wonderful comment on the uniform fashions of the day. Yeah, and I still trap mind remembers having read the phrase and kept it. Yeah, well, that's what happens when you have a steel trap mind and remembers almost everything. Dan says sounds like Dead Space has entered L space. Yes, definitely way deep into L space for sure. Excuse me. So, but you can ask me questions about Deadeye. This is another, and this is also a book that's going to have, unlike most Monty and Strong books, this book is going to have somewhat of a body count. I've noticed, and I can't say more than that. All I can say is whoa. Like, yeah, usually it's interesting because the books, the especially the Monty and Strong books, don't factor heavily on. They do and they don't factor heavily on death, but they do factor heavily on death because, like, death is even a character, and then you've got Simon's situation as deathless recently, so death is definitely prominent. But this is one of the few books, I think, one of the few books where death is like front and center within the story itself, and things start happening around that. And that's gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be. I can't really. I want to share so much with you. I really do, but I also want to make sure you read it later on and have it in its entirety. You know. Oh, Gerard, you're way behind because we're only, I think, on book 18, and the other books for audiobooks are going to take a while to produce. So, yes, Jeanette, it's going to be. So, I apologize that there's a delay in the audiobooks, but it's also, there are many factors that contribute to that. So, I'm sorry. I apologize for what we can do, but there are things behind the scenes that are working, but no spoilers. And yes, there's a body count, but I can't tell you what's happening. But there's definitely a body count for sure. That's about as much as I can say on that topic. But if you want to discuss Paige's character, I think I can share a few things. I don't know. I can't share too much because I don't want to take away from the mystique of the character. She's a red shirt after all. All I can tell you is that Paige's character dies. How she dies, what her abilities are, because she has abilities. What she looks like, oh, she looks like Paige. If Paige were a badass mage, and yeah. Oh, the building count. There's gonna be. I can't. Yeah. I don't want you. I want you guys to experience this firsthand. So I'm gonna try my best not to spoil much of this. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening in the story. There's a reason why I can't write any other story as I'm writing the story. Usually when I write a story, I have enough bandwidth to be able to write simultaneous stories. I can write 2 stories. Maybe sometimes 3. I've done 3 stories simultaneously. That is not the case with this current book with M&S because it has sucked all the air out of my imaginative production area, and so it's all M&S all day, all night. I mean, I'm dreaming it, I'm thinking it. Every time I'm writing a note, it has to do with something in M&S. If I show you the notes, let me see if I can show you the notes. I won't show you the notes detailed because spoilers, but I can show you. So I put notes in here. So I have the works in progress that I'm just gonna scroll quickly. Okay, these are the keys. Okay, notes, and I'm just scrolling, 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 scrolling. So those are notes that just come to me throughout the day. Good night, Jeanette. Have a wonderful sleep. Be uncommon. Awesome. Yeah, so I get notes constantly on the story, and that's when I know that the story is basically has gone off on its own and done its thing. And so, but I'm just taking notes. I'm just writing down. I could be driving. I have to pull over and write some notes down. I'm waiting somewhere, and I have to put a note. So it's always like I'm constantly writing notes. So these notes somehow I have to incorporate them into the story that's happening. So it's like that. Then I'll get to Chris's comment in a second. Dan says I only have one. I got one easy yet to answer question about that, but I have to ask it this case. Is the man responsible for any of that body count as a result of George Harvey Michael? No, Dan. Silk is not in Deadeye. But that's a great question. And the day when I tell you Silk is in this one, your brain is going to explode when that happens because of the way it's already set up for when Silk makes a cameo appearance, and it's going to be like, what the, how, when? Yeah, it's going to be crazy. So, but not yet. Hold on, Dan. Hold on. Let's see. So Chris is saying the audiobooks usually run behind the normal book releases because it does take. That's not only does it take long, but there's a lot of involved in making the audiobooks. And we have one of the best audiobook narrators, and so it's also working with schedules that conflict with. They can't narrate books as fast as I can write them. That's what happens. So there's always going to be a lag. So I'm on book 28, and the audiobook's on 18. So there's this disparity in terms of the production. Not to mention the cost involved. So there's also that to factor in. So there's a lot of different factors involved in the audiobooks. And the regular books, and that's just the nature of the business. That's just what happens. But yeah, it's like, that's most urban fantasy. It's easier for when it's just the author who has to just put out a book. And sometimes I know a lot of authors don't even do print books anymore. They just do ebooks because it's faster and they can put the book out quickly, and then the story's out and they can move on to the next project. So that's something to also consider. The ease of getting the books out to the readers. And that's, all right. So I'll try not to do too much about Deadeye. So what's after Deadeye? I want to say Divine Hell. I'm looking at the production schedule. That production schedule just got blown to bits because of Deadeye. Thank you, Deadeye. So it's all over the place. Divine Hell is supposed to be after Deadeye. It's gonna have to be Frozen Fire and then Divine Hell and then Nemesis. Nemesis is the book right after Deadeye, and Nemesis ties in directly to Deadeye, and so does the book after that, which is Chaos Rising, which is the 30th book. Those three books are closely linked, not cliffhanger linked, no, but really, really closely linked. What can I say about Nemesis? Nemesis picks up right after the end of Deadeye, but something major happens between Deadeye and Nemesis. And I'm sorry that I'm teasing you this way. I hate to do that, but it's like I can't say much about Nemesis without giving away what's happening in Deadeye. And I can't say much about Nemesis because it leads into Chaos Rising. And so I have to kind of keep it vague. But those three, I think I did it earlier in another in Mountain Strong, like three books were kind of closely linked together. Same thing. So these three books, Deadeye, Nemesis, and Chaos Rising, are really closely linked together. And then the 31st book, which is Paper Dragons, is a Michiko-centered story. Michiko and Byako with Simon and Monty. And that one's going to be fun. That one is going to be a lot of, because Michiko's no longer the director of the Dark Council at that point. So it's all vampires and blood hunters and Simon. It's going to be a lot of fun, Paper Dragons. So that's going to be good. And then we're going to Phantom Pain. Can't say what that one's about. Dark Flame is another Simon-centered story. And then Dark Mage is a Monty-centered story. And then Absolution. And I don't want to keep going into the titles because the titles start giving away some of the story. So we're going to stop right there. But I try to update you because you should know what to expect with that. Like, I'll put it to like this. This is book 28, Deadeye. And I have outlined to book 43. And we're still not done. And somewhere at the end of those is Hellhound's Delight, which is a Peaches-centered story. And that's going to be fun. And then we have Dark Immortal and Broken Bonds. And I don't think I want to tell you anymore because you can start putting it together. It's not good. But that's what's happening. So they're going to have to go through certain changes. Things are going to have to happen. Simon it's going to be, it's going to be fun. It's going to be feels. It's going to be oh no. And yeah. Deadeye is an indicator of what's coming. If you stuck through 28 books, 27 books, and now the 28th book, the 28th book is going to jar you into like, what just happened? It's like that. It'll be that fun. All right. So Divine Hell. Okay, so the sequence will be Deadeye, Frozen Fire, because Frozen Fire will be like a little break from the craziness of Monty and Strong. It's different craziness, but it's a break from the M&S crazy. Then Divine Hell, and then Nemesis. And I think at that point we're hitting near the end of it. No, we still got time. So we might even get Stone done this year, which would be nice. And Chaos Rising is is scheduled to be the last book of the year. We'll see about that. I don't really like writing in December because December is holidays and we're spending time with family, and so it's I don't like to take time away from that. In the middle of all of this fun, crazy, epic slate, that there is the Patreon story that's going to be a serial story. Bye, Marie. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for visiting. I know it's evening over there, so have a great, wonderful rest of your evening. Simon forever and meet his life. We're gonna start having like, you know, catchphrases. There's gonna be the Patreon. I'm gonna try and streamline the Patreon in a way where it's a serial series. I guess you could say a serial, just a serial, not the kind you eat, right? So a serial where you could follow what it's going to be like a series of stories that are all connected, and yeah, but it's going to be directly linked to what's happening outside of Patreon. Except that on Patreon, you really want to join Patreon now, because once that gets rolling, it's going to be just for the Patreon people. So you really want to join out. I think you join for free and just get in there because it's going to be amazing. And I don't want to go too much into that either because, you know, I have all this stuff that I want to show you guys, but I can't yet. Like, I have the cover for the Patreon stories. I have the art for it. Whoa, but I can't show you. Sorry. I wish I could. I really do. I really wish I could just say, look, here's the art. Boom. And you guys will go, oh my God, what? And then, you know, but then I can't do that. I have to make it so, you know, the Patreons who are supporting the Patreon then get that, you know? But you guys will be able to see other stuff. So it'll be awesome. It'll be awesome all around. And I really appreciate you guys being patient and amazing and incredible and following and supporting. And in some cases, dying for the cause. Paige, thank you for dying for the cause. You know. So yeah. I am a big tease. I am so sorry. I apologize, Kitty, but you know, these things I gotta do it. I want to. I really do. But I also realize that if I do, it's not fair to all the readers. So, you know, but it's going to be when I'm okay, I'll put it to like this. When I'm writing Deadeye right now, and I have a projected quota for the day, like 2,000, 3,000, I don't even look at that as I'm writing. I'll blow right past that because I'm in the story. It's that kind of a story. And Monty Strong is usually like that for me anyway. But this one is, for some reason, is even more. It's really like, wow, because we're seeing Simon's world in this story. So we're diving into Simon's world as a shadow company operative and what he left to join and be part of Monty and Strong, and what he walked away from, and the dangers that were normal for him because they weren't magic based per se. There was still it was still a world of danger and risk, and the world that he walked away from to be part of the new world that he stepped into, which is the world of magic, is pretty deep and dark and risky and, you know, deadly. And so I'm jumping into this world and we're doing things, and now it's like, yeah, it's crazy. And so I agree with you, Kitty. There should not be a word count concern, but in terms of the way my brain works, the word count is not so much a strict, you got to stop by X amount. It's more a framework and a parameter. So I know I'm kind of where I need to be in terms of the writing for the day. And it helps my brain. It's the way my brain is organized in terms of writing. I know I have to do 2,000 words a day, or I do 5,000 words a day. Whatever the number may be that I go in with, it's not to limit the story, but basically to kind of gauge where I am. And that's also how I know that a story is going viral, because if I'm supposed to be hitting 4,000 words, but I'm actually writing 6 or 7, then the story's, I'm not going off on tangents, it's just that the story is taking over. And so, which is a good thing, unless I have a deadline, but all of my deadlines are self-imposed, which is good. And means that they're kind of flexible. I try not to be flexible with deadlines, and I try to get the books out to the readers on a timely basis because I know everybody's waiting for the next story, and I want them to get the next story. And I want you to read it as much as you want to read it, put it that way. So I try not to delay stories, which is why Frozen Fire, I'm a little, like, I wanted to get out, but then I came in and like said, no, I don't think so. This needs to happen now, you know? But having, like Chris said, having a word count as a daily goal, like a word daily goal, word count, really helps a writer. It really does. It gives a kind of structure to what you're doing, and it basically helps you gauge where you are in your day. You'll know if you had a 3,000 word goal, but you're only 1,500 words in, and the day has past, or most of the past, either you're having a word situation, a story situation that you need to unravel and kind of look deeper into it. It could be that you just need a break and you need to step away from the work for a day and say, okay, I gotta rest my brain because it's not flowing. Or it could be that you're going in the wrong direction, and sometimes that happens. And so the writing, the story will kind of get stuck. Not that you get stuck as a writer, but it won't come out the way it won't come out easily because you're heading in a direction that the story doesn't want to go. And sometimes, and maybe this is just me, but sometimes as writers, we want to force a story a certain way, and the story's like, no, that's not the way it needs to go. It needs to go this way, and you want to go that way, and it's like, no, it needs to go this way. And sometimes you're here, you're doing this, and it's like until you realize, oh, I gotta let the story go where it wants to go and kind of make it happen. You get bogged down in like, and it becomes a struggle to start writing. When I'm writing Mountain Strong, it's crazy because for me it's hard to keep up with the story as I'm writing it. I can't type fast enough, which is sometimes you see me miss like words and things, and but I can't type fast enough to keep up with the story. That's when I know I'm going where the story needs to go. The only thing that slows it down sometimes, and you'll see it in the stories, I'm finding a place in Manhattan that the guys are going down, and I got to make sure that the route is correct. So now you have me open Google Maps, and I'm running down the city, and then I'm remembering from my own memory of going to places, and okay, does that street run east-west? Does it run north-south? How does it go? And how many avenues away from, so if I have to do stuff like that, it slows it down a bit. But other than that, or if I have to find out like a specific location, and then this place, like the Hellfire Club, is located where exactly? Located downtown, and we're downtown, and stuff like that. That'll slow me down a bit, but I'm only because I'm doing logistics. It's not really story related so much. I mean, it's story related, but not to the extent of moving the story forward so much as placing the characters within the story to be able to orient the reader to know this is where they are, and from here, this is where we're going. And so just follow along. But it has to kind of be seamless. And it's just I guess my way, my standard that if I'm going to describe a place in a city or in a town or wherever it may be, that it's accurate. And then I can take creative liberties with it. Like I can say, okay, like the Hybrid Club. Hybrid Club is a real place. It's not called the Hybrid Club. It's called the Manhattan Club, and it's an actual building, and it's a real place. But I have to situate it in a real place within the city in my head. Like this has to really exist somewhere. And then I can embellish and change and adapt and make it a little different. So it becomes the Hybrid Club instead of the Manhattan Club. Things like that. But I have to kind of have it fixed in place. And that's what, unless it's a place I create whole cloth, it's like that all the time. Being in that Zen state of flow writing is, it is really awesome when it happens. You lose track of time, you lose track of everything. You're just writing and writing and writing. And before you know, you've written like, so much. You're like, how did that happen? It's like a fugue state. And I've had conversations like that with authors about is it a real thing? Is it not a real thing? And I can only tell you from my experience and what I've gone through, that writing in the fugue state or writing in that kind of state where you're there, but you're not really there. And excuse me, the words are kind of flowing through you. For me, is a real thing. I can get into a Mountain Strong or really any story. Like I say, the other story that happened a lot with was with Gatekeepers. When I was writing Gatekeepers, I was just writing the story. And especially when I was dealing with Bug. Bug pretty much wrote herself. Bug was like, I'm here now. Let's get this story happening. Let's go. And I was like, okay, what do you need to do? Tell me what you need to say because I'm doing it. And that's how a Bug as a character is almost singular in her expression of how she comes across and how she came out in the story. To the point where the second book in the Gatekeeper trilogy is The Way of Bug. That's how much she took over the story. The second book is her book. And I could say the trilogy yes, Porter is in there and Porter's kick-ass and he's an awesome gatekeeper. But let me tell you, Bug steals that trilogy. And she's like, it's like Chris says, time stops. Time comes to a halt and you're just writing away. And I wish I could have every writer go through that experience, because it's such an amazing experience that at the end of that experience, when you read it as if someone else wrote it, because that's what it feels like. I'll be reading stories sometimes, like I'm doing homework for Deadeye, and I'll read Requiem, because Requiem is the last book that was really Simon focused that way. And I'm reading Requiem, and I'm like, exactly when did I write? Because it's not that I have so many. I remember all the stories, but it's not the remembering of the story per se, but the specific things that happen in the story. I'm like, how exactly? How did I write this? Because man, this is like really good, but it's so you like I don't, and that's how it leaves me. And that's how when you're writing in that flow state, you're writing, and there's a part of you that's writing, and there's a part of you that's looking at you writing, say like, hey, we're writing this, but there's another part that's like, this is what I'm doing now. Quiet. Don't let the other part of the brain know. Let's go. Write this out quick. And you write it, and it's like, I mean, it's like to take the bug example, just the name Freybug and the character, like Mary Beth is saying, it's an amazing character. If you would have asked me and try to pin me down, where did she come from? How did she arrive? How did she form? I don't even know if I could tell you. It's like she arrived and she just took over everything, everything. The gatekeepers, that whole world, because it's a different world from M&S. It's adjacent. That whole world is Bug's world. Everyone else in there is just like a side character to Bug. Even though Bug is not the main gatekeeper, Bug is the main character, and she lets everyone know it. And you can, and when you read the story, it's like, oh, this is Bug's story. Even when it's not Bug's story, it's Bug's story. So she's a great character, and it's just it's a delight to write characters like that. And so in Mountain Strong, the characters that are like that, all the characters, it's crazy because all the characters in Mountain Strong have a feel of that, have a little bit of like they all want to take over center stage, you know. But we all know that Peaches is the heart of Mountain Strong, and so yeah. Okay, let me get to the questions. If I don't get to the questions, we're never gonna get to the questions, and I have to get to the questions because they were given to me today. All right, first question. First of all, let me thank you guys for every time you give questions, it makes each episode, each show, it adds something amazing to the show. So thank you so much for the questions. Audrey's first question. Orlando, what is the weirdest / most annoying interview question you have ever been asked? I've done quite a few interviews. I don't think I've ever had any weird ones or annoying ones. All my interviewers have been really pleasant, amazing people. Excuse me, and no one has really wanted to approach something weird or be annoying. I never had an annoying interview question. I don't get annoyed that easily. Weird, not really. They've all been kind of the usual run of the mill. How did you get started? Where do you get your ideas? I guess where do you get your ideas is a weird one, but a lot of interviewers ask that question, and no real author can answer that question. Where do you get your ideas? Because we don't know where the ideas come from. They come from the ether. They come from out there somewhere, and they arrive. You know, or they come from the idea store on the corner at Costco. In Costco, there's a special section for writers called the Idea Corner. I'm gonna create this, the Idea Corner, and there you go. And whatever store you're working, like let's say urban fantasy, there's a shelf for urban fantasy, and then you can pick up an idea from there. You know, usually it's on discount, and you just get that. That's where you get ideas from. So, but no, I don't really have weird or annoying interview questions. So I'm sorry, Audrey, that one didn't really happen for me. Dolly can't answer. She's not here right now, but I will answer as Dolly, as to the best of my ability. Dolly, what personality trait gets into a lot of trouble? Dolly doesn't get in trouble. One. Um, Personality traits. All her personality traits are pretty awesome, but I am incredibly biased. And so I cannot answer this question unbiased. So bye-bye, Joe. Take care. Thank you so much for being here. Go collect the old man. Have a great rest of your day. But she doesn't have any personality traits that gets her into trouble. So again, I'm going to answer this as honestly as I am completely biased on this question, and answering as her not gonna help. So she doesn't get in trouble, and she doesn't have personality traits that get her into trouble. Uh, Personality traits that she has that are stand out. She has an incredible work ethic. She can do things that leave me flabbergasted when she gets into she has a different kind of flow. So my flow is like in writing, and her flow is like in other things. And when she gets into like an organizational flow, like with Excel sheets and numbers and things like that, she just enters a whole different realm, and it's incredible what she does. I mean, she does it like seamlessly, and it's like things that would take me weeks and months, she's doing it like in minutes. Like boom, 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 boom. I'm like, wow. And it just goes to show you that we all have our strengths, and it's incredible to see her in action. She just does things, and it's like, okay, boom, move this here, move this here, and she'll have like 100 tabs open, and she knows where everything is, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna just you do your thing. I'm just gonna go over here, right? You go do your thing, and so yeah, she has amazing personality traits. Like she can, I will say multitask because we really truly can't multitask, but she can have many operations going on at once and keep track of what's happening where and how. She has that. She has a facility for that. Her brain is really wired that way. It's amazing to watch in action because it's hard to describe, but when you see it and you keep track of this and keep trying to do that and that, you got to make sure this happens and that happens. And this, it's awe inspiring. It's mind boggling to see it happen. It's incredible. And that's Dolly's question. Next question. Orlando, which book or movie character would you want to be in real life? Jeez. Can I humble brag here and say I would love to be Simon or Porter or any of my characters? If it's a book character, and then if it's a movie character, that list is way too long. Jeez. Um, yeah, I can't even begin to answer that one, Audrey, because there's just so many characters I would love to be if it's a movie character. So many, it's like so many. It's just going from we can just go to comic books. I'd love to be Doctor Strange, or let's see, jeez, Neo from the Matrix. Man, that would be great too. There's so many characters that I would love to be. So I'm gonna pass that third one because as books, any character in my books, I would love to be any of them. Ezra would be awesome. I'd love to be Ezra for a day and see how that would be like. Just to kind of be like Ezra hanging out at the deli and just be like or Dex. Dex would be an awesome character. But I would love to be Doctor Strange. Yeah, Doctor Strange is. I actually wanted to be Doctor Strange when I was young. I had this down, Doctor Strange. Do spells like this. So yeah, I was really good with that. And it was really more like this and be able to like cast spells. I used to play like that with like my siblings. So yeah, Doctor Strange would be a big at the near the top of that list for sure. Doctor Strange, which is if you think about it, because Doctor Strange is like the Sorcerer Supreme. It does kind of make sense about writing Monty and all this magic. I really loved playing as Doctor Strange in my head, and I had all the Doctor Strange comics. But now it does click. So yeah, and they didn't do bad with the new Doctor Strange with Benedict Cucumber Boy. So that was good. I like that. Doctor Strange is one of my favorite characters. In fact, he's sitting on my desk. Here, I'll show you. Dust him off. Here's the Doctor Strange totem on my desk. There you go. Let's see if I can get him to focus. Very cool, Doctor Strange. He sits on my desk and he just gives me the evil eyes, make sure like I'm doing the work that I'm supposed to do. Let's see. Oh, here. Okay. So, Dan, have a great weekend. The Amateur sounds really good, so I may have to check it out. I know it's a remake, but I like Rami. So, let me know what you think about it as you watch it. I'm looking forward to hearing your opinion on it, but I really want to kind of watch it. It looks really interesting, and I like Rami's acting, so we'll see. Okay, next question. Okay, we got like 10 minutes. All right, Orlando, what is the one other question no interviewer ever asked you that you wish they'd ask? This is different from Audrey's about the most annoying, so this is a different one. Okay, the one question that they've never asked would be, I guess, okay, here's one that I can think of. How does it feel when your readers read your stories? How does it feel as an author when your readers read your story? No interviewer has ever asked me that. I don't know if I've ever seen an interviewer ask an author that. But I'm going to try and answer that one because it's a good question, and it's a question I wish they would ask. I've had, first of all, it's humbling because you have to understand the concept of being an author is that I get to sit at my desk in front of a blank screen and make things up from my imagination, right? Where it comes from, again, like I've already said before, I don't know where it comes from, but it gets filtered through my brain and through my life history, my life experiences, and I get to make all this stuff up: characters, world, abilities, things that happen, situations, and then I get to give that to someone else, a stranger in many cases. They read it and enjoy it and make it their own. And that has got to be the most surreal, incredible, humbling experience a person can experience. It really, there are very few words to actually really describe that process because I'm taking this blank thing, I'm making something from nothing, and then not only am I doing that and enjoying that, then I get to give it to someone else. I get the privilege of sharing that with someone else. And then they get to make it their own with their life experiences and their life history, and they get to enjoy it and make it their own. And then that happens many, 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 many times. And so how that feels as an author, it's like I said, it's humbling. You know, it's so humbling. And then you get to share, you get to find commonality with people you've never met, people you may never meet across all lines, whether it's language, if you get your books translated, whether it's age group, whether it's country, culture, you get to just connect with so many different kinds of people through your stories and characters. And that is, it's, it's hard to explain. It's just something it's bigger than you. That's what it makes. At one point, it makes you feel really small, and it also makes you feel really connected to everyone. And no interviewer asks that, I think, because it's a hard question. But how does it feel as an author to have people read your work? It's thrilling in one end, it's scary on the other end. And when you're starting, you don't really want to do that because what are they going to say? And what if they hate it? And and so you're worried about all of that. And but what if they love it? And then you're worried about that. And it's like, what if it sucks? Oh, then you're worried about that. It's like, and it's this kind of constant pull and tug on you as a person and then you as a creative because there's something inside of you that has to get this creative expression out. You can't deny it. You have to get it out. But by the same token, there's something inside that says, no, you can't show this to anyone because you're not ready, or they might hate it, or they're not going to like it, and so there's this constant tension between the part of you that needs to get it out as a creative and the part of you that wants to keep it hidden as a person. And yeah, like Kitty is saying, it's cathartic. Many times it is cathartic, and you're writing things that you didn't even know you had inside of you that needed to get out. But not only that, sometimes you'll write something that's cathartic to you and then connects to other readers, and they can get some catharsis through that. And you connect on a whole different level. It's hard. It's so hard to kind of explain. I've stumped myself. It's crazy. Um, but it's hard to explain that because you're writing something that resonates with you as an author, as a writer. And that has to be the first person it resonates with. It has to be you. But then if it resonates with you, there's a really good chance that you're going to find readers that resonate with the story. And then it resonates with them. And then they take that resonance and they share it and they internalize it. And all of a sudden you have a whole bunch of people resonating together around a story or a character or a moment in a story. And it's this incredible thing. I mean, I've had it happen not just with my books, but with books that I've read. and I found other people who read the same book. It was like, do you remember that moment when, yes, I remember that moment, and oh my God, you know, and it's like that, and you connect. And I guess the answer that's most complete for that question is, it feels connected. You know how we always say everything is connected? When an author writes a story and that readers enjoy, it feels connected. You're connected to your readers. You're connected to people. Connected to yourself to be able to write the story, and then you're connected to the people who read that story, who make the story theirs as well. And so now everyone's connected. So you're connected to the story, you're connected to each other, and it's just this amazing web network of people connecting around a story or a character or an event. I think that's the best way I could describe it. I think, yeah, that's the best way to describe it. So I wish interviewers would ask that question, because authors don't get asked that question. They don't get asked, how do you feel when people read your stories? They don't really get asked that. Everything is connected. And so they don't really get asked that question. And you can't just say, well, I feel like everything's connected. It's so much deeper than that. It really is. And yes, that thought encapsulates everything. Everything is connected. It's so true. But that thought is like the tip of an iceberg that's miles long. And you just see the tip, but it's just so much more behind that statement of everything is connected. It's on so many levels. It's on so many levels. It's on so many expressions. It's incredible. It really is. And it goes cross creative expressions, because at times when I'm writing something, but I hear a piece of music that perfectly expresses what I'm writing, and it fits right in, which is why you see movies and the soundtrack can make a movie. Why? Because the emotion that music is bringing out perfectly aligns with the images that you're seeing. It's the same thing in writing. It's that you don't get to hear the soundtrack, but it's like that. There's a soundtrack in your head. As a writer, there's a soundtrack in my head. I'm listening to music as I'm writing, and it's like, oh yes, this works perfectly. So everything is connected. That's basically how that question gets answered. That's a question I wish more interviewers would ask. How do you feel when you write and people read what you write and enjoy it? It's amazing. It's an amazing experience, and it's not just with writing. It's like a painter and people seeing the painting and expressing this painting is touching me on so many levels, or anything that's creative has an audience. It really does, and has a resonance. And like Chris is saying, it's a big universe. Everything's connected. I think that's a great way to end the show. I really do. And if you really want to take it further, go ask some authors. How do you feel when you read your books? And you'll initially you will stump them. They'll be like, "Huh, what? No one's ever asked me that before." And then if you give them a moment to really consider the answer, they'll share something profound with you, because it's a really profound question. Because every author that writes, whether they're published or not, every person, every writer, every person that writes wants to be read. They want their words read. That's why they're writing. One, they're writing because they have to write. It's part of who they are. But also, they have to share something with someone else. They're writing to share that idea, to share those thoughts, to share that story. And so if you can ask authors that question, and please do, go ask authors that question. How do you feel when people read your books, when people read your poems, when people read your work? How do you feel? How does that make you feel? And just wait. Give them time to answer the question, because it's a hard one, and it's a question they're not used to answering. And if you wait, you will get something truly amazing and profound. Yeah. Wow. Well, Chris, we wanted to know what's going to appear today. That appeared today. I want to thank you all for being here today. You guys are amazing and fantastic and incredible. My 3 Bs: be kind, because it doesn't cost you anything to be kind. Be unstoppable, because the only thing that can stop you is you. And be uncommon, because there's only one of you in the entire universe. Only one. So have a fantastic weekend. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing some time hanging out and going over stuff and sharing some thoughts. Our next Kaffeeklatsch will be, wow, already August 1st. So that's when we'll be here. We'll be back in August. And have a great rest of your weekend. If it's really hot, don't forget to drink a lot of water. Stay hydrated. Thank you for the questions, Audrey and Chris. You guys are amazing. Audrey, keeping that question streak going. You go. Thank you guys. You guys make this so amazing and so incredible. It's always the highlight of my week when we have a MoB Kaffeeklatsch, because I'm like, I can't wait to the MoB Kaffeeklatsch. I don't know what's gonna happen, but can't wait what's gonna happen. We'll see. So thank you so much for being here and making it special. Let's see what I'm gonna take off my scary face and put on Peaches' awesome face. Hold on.